Experiment number 72. I think both the phones are going. I'm inviting Sheryl. I see her. I sent her an invitation. I think both of our phones are horizontal, which like is necessary apparently. And I see Sheryl and I'm going to touch her. Bring Sheryl on camera. Yeah, the trick. Both phones horizontal. Facebook is adding me
There we
inviting, and
are.
there you are. It really is both phones
We
horizontal.
did
Maybe
it.
I mentioned that to Howard, but he may have like not noticed it in all the back and forth. Who knows? I'll check with him. So this is great, Sheryl. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I appreciate the most about you is that you've got this like tremendous sense of art and flow and all the things that are such counterpoint to this like scientist gal. So tell me, tell everybody a little bit about you. Are you still there? Oh, you're frozen. Well, anyway, uh, Sheryl is really great with, I mean, if you want to learn how to do videos, she's the bomb. To have confidence on them when you're doing it. Oh, yeah. Oh, here she is. She's back. I'm going to bring her back on. That'll take a moment. Add, connecting.
I made the mistake of turning my phone to try and turn the volume up, and it turned the whole thing off.
Oh, yeah,
Very sensitive.
because Facebook is really like serious about having the same orientation on both ends, right?
Well, yes, if you're vertical, however the host starts, if you
Uh-huh.
start vertical, I have to be vertical. And you can't, once you choose whatever it is before you go live, you can't
Uh-huh.
change it, apparently.
Right.
You can't,
Uh-huh.
but I
Right.
can
But you can't.
as the
Uh-huh.
guest.
And why would you want to change it anyway? Because this way we get to be side by side and there's just not enough real estate the other way.
Well, you can't be horizontal and me be vertical. It doesn't,
Right.
that's probably why you couldn't get Howard. But I
Probably.
was touching with the volume. I was trying to raise my volume and it made the whole thing shut off. I don't
I
know what
get it.
happened.
I get it. I get it. You
Anyway,
froze for a moment and then you were there. So tell everybody about you. I was like being extemporaneous about all of your marvelous skills. Sheryl is just a wonderful comedian and film
you're too
star
kind.
she knows everything about video and how to get a lot of visibility. So what's tell me more.
Well, I am the creative muse. I help people create. And one of the things I do is help people not only look and sound great on video, but to feel great on video. Because I don't know why so many people feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
going on. Something about this little tiny dot that is the lens makes people get all kind of crazy and feel like
Crazy.
they have to be different. They have to have
Mm-hmm.
something really special. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, the more you can be, just like talking to somebody, like you have somebody over to your house, the better it is. Because,
Yeah.
one of the things about being in a film is the camera really, you can see what somebody's thinking in a film.
Yeah.
They can
Uh-huh.
land on you and make you feel something just by having the thought.
Uh-huh.
So, being real and being yourself on video is great. So that's what I do. I help people feel great on video because video is such an amazing tool these days, such an amazing marketing
It
tool with
is.
Facebook Live and Instagram stories and doing your own content and
Mm-hmm.
just everything that it's a shame when people feel they may not be a candidate for doing video, or they just don't feel like they're ready, or they think
Yeah.
they don't have enough to say, or something,
Eh,
whatever. So that's
whatever. And the true test is, are you breathing?
right. Are you breathing?
Do you want to?
Do you want to? And beginning is a lot. But there is a gentle way to begin and a way to be guided and a way to know what to say and how to add to your story with what's around you so that you choose things that are adding to what you do so that
Yeah.
whenever somebody goes on camera, whether it's a Zoom
Uh-huh.
session or an interview or doing a Facebook Live, that how you present really lets people know what you do and what you're about. So they get
Yeah.
you, they feel your energy, they know what you're doing, so that what is around you adds to your story and your what I call presence, your
Oh,
presentation.
presence is so important. And, that's a huge chunk of the work that I do and the way in which we're kind of complementary because, I notice this all the time and I know you do too. If somebody shows up with the same kind of skill, like on the movie set or, in the recording studio or for a sales pitch or to negotiate something, and they've got the same skills as somebody else, but you know, they're falling flat and the other person is like knocking it out of the park. Like, what's the difference? It's your presence, it's the energy you bring, it's those intangible things that, as a really geeky gal growing up, I
Geeky
really had
gal.
to learn geeky, physics and math geeky. And
Oh, I love that. That's
and
perfect.
so, I really had to like there is some kind of magic that goes on with these other human beings that I just was not having. And so I had to get me some.
Well, the other thing besides presence, besides what you call the magic going on with the human beings, I really believe that rehearsal, practice is a wonderful thing to practice
Yes.
doing this because if an actor or actress is in a show, whether
Hmm.
live theater or TV or film, there's a rehearsal period before
Yes.
they show anything to anybody. And sometimes the rehearsal
Exactly.
period is longer than, say,
Uh-huh.
the run of the show.
Yes.
But to
It's
know
true.
and be comfortable with all the buttons and bobbles and beeps and boops, that's one
Hmm.
thing. And then to be
Yeah.
comfortable with who you are on video is a whole nother. So I really think that rehearsal and practice, as well as knowing what to do and how to do it and when to do it, is a
Yeah,
great
it's
part of
true.
video.
Like when I'm getting ready to do a speaking engagement, do I just like dust off the last version of a talk that I did? No, heavens no. I practice, practice, practice because it's a performance to deliver so that people absolutely get the most value out of it. It's not just information. Information is everywhere. You can just Google information. What matters is that they get it.
Yeah.
And the way they get it is from having a really compelling performance. And you want me to tell you a little story about a
I
colleague
would
that you
love
probably don't know?
I love stories about a
Oh
colleague that
God.
we know, about somebody we
No,
know.
it's a colleague that you may know because he was in theater for a long time,
Oh,
and then and he wanted to make it big in the movies, and he didn't, and so he went into another line of work. How he got into training on software methodologies, which is where I met him. He was an instructor for software methodologies, and I still remember the all 3 days of the training that I was in with him because it was a performance. He wasn't delivering information, although he did. He
entertainment.
performed every bit of it. It had that emotional content that really makes it stick in a positive and really helpful way.
Infotainment, we like to call.
Yes, and this was his name, Three. He was like
His name
the
was
third
Three?
generation,
Oh, the
Three, and
third.
he,
His name
like
was
the third.
Three? That was his name?
Yeah, and he changed it. He had his name legally changed from whatever it was he wouldn't say to Three because that was the only thing that distinguished him from his father and his grandfather.
That's very cool. Well, yeah, entertainment and story. People love
Mm-hmm.
story.
Oh yeah.
And, in fact, where my showbiz career began? In
No, tell me.
It's another three, third grade. I was on the playground and I was telling the story of Little Rabbit Foom Foom to a little crowd of other third graders.
Uh-huh.
Little Rabbit Foom Foom hopping through the forest. I don't like this part because I love animals. Picking up field mice, bopping on the head. That's the way the story went. And my teacher saw from the window of the school classroom, she saw me like doing something for quite some time with these children around me. And she asked me later, what was going on down there? And I said, well, I told the story of Little Rabbit Foom Foom. She said, oh, would you like to tell it to the class? And I said, okay. So I stood up in front of the class, told the story. And do you know they sent me on tour of the third grade
Wow.
to tell the story of Little Rabbit Foom Foom. And that's where my showbiz career began.
Began in the third grade.
And it was really fun. And to be able to capture the feeling, there were so many things about that third grade performance that work today. You know, I involved the group. There's a part where they all do the thing with me. They could relate. It was my crowd, you know, my people.
Yes.
So it was so many things, so many great things.
You've been a star for a long time, darling.
Well, I do have a long career in showbiz. Hey, can I tell people about my guide about 10 things to know?
That.
This is a wonderful guide if you want to be doing video. It's a wonderful guide I put together of just 10 tips, things to know before you video that are going to help you really shine, to look your best. And you can get it at SherylBernstein.com/star. And Sheryl is with an S, SHERYL, Bernstein.com.
Just like it says right up here on
just like it says. SherylBernstein.com/star. And it's a wonderful guide, and it comes with a little sequence of videos that help you go further. And I'm very proud of it. And I think that
I have it. It's great. They're great tips.
Great tips.
Things that if you didn't know them, you would not think of them, right?
They're just from me, from things I know. Things I know I'm happy to share.
From having just an amazing amount of experience and working with top talent all around, you know, the U.S. and probably beyond.
Well, I've had the opportunity of working both sides as an actress and performer and voiceover actress, and also I've directed and produced. So I've done both, and that's something that I thought about today. One of the wonderful things about doing video, making your own video, you get to be the actress, you get to be the director or actor, you get to be the producer, and you get to create it the way that you want it. The wonderful thing.
Just the way you like it.
Make your own.
And the wonderful thing about these lives is, you know, you can record them, and then at the end, if you're satisfied, you can say, you know, post this. And if you're not satisfied, you can just delete it.
You can delete. I've deleted quite a fair share of things. I'm like, nope.
I know.
Nope.
Not good enough. And that's fine too.
You want to
That's a practice.
I mean, there is a thing about just doing it and, you know, run and gun and don't worry about it, to just get out there. But I do believe you want to always look your best, do your best, show yourself off in the way that you would like to be seen. You, the people, whoever's watching.
Alfred, hey, Alfred.
So this is fun that we got this working here, this
I'm glad.
Facebook
it was really simple.
Live duo. And you know, if it is vertical, if you're right now, we both have our phones horizontal. But if you had started vertical and I was vertical, then the way we would see it, I don't know if how the other viewers would see it, but the way we would see it is you would be very big and I would be just a little postage stamp in the corner if we were vertical.
Okay.
There's less real estate or something. They can't split it up. You know, this horizontal, they can split
our
up.
faces would be really skinny if they put us side by side in vertical.
Really skinny.
We would look like we needed to have a good dinner.
Have a sandwich. Dorothy, what are you up to? What's going on? What can people opt in, watch, see for you?
Oh, great. You know, my secret sauce has been in working in huge companies and small companies throughout, mostly with, you know, men who can be they get different kind of socialization that than we as women typically get, and they can be very kind of dominating and all that kind of stuff. Things can come off kind of brusque. They don't mean it to come off that way. They're just being the way they're being, like the most of us. And I'm really blessed to have worked with a ton of good men throughout my long career in technology. And sometimes there are those challenges where it feels like insults, or it feels like bullying, or it feels like mansplaining, and all those kinds of things, and how that stuff really plays into the social stories that kind of make us as women in kind of that less than kind of situation, whether we feel that way or whether other people perceive us that way, because perception is like 90% of the game.
Right.
People make meaning out of what they perceive. If they perceive something else, or perceive something that's not useful, it's a good thing to be able to turn that in the moment. So you can really what I found was being strong and with a bit of humor, and really that tremendous presence and determination to guide where the conversation and the interaction is going, can happen in just a few seconds. So I call it the 13-second rule, because it never took me any longer than 13 seconds to like turn a dicey situation into a victory, and get somebody's respect who was being, well, not exactly respectful.
In 13 seconds, that's great.
13 seconds, yeah.
13 seconds.
Yeah.
And
So
is it more of a change in your mind, or is it actually letting them know that what they did wasn't so cool? And
both. It's both. You have to, it's seizing the moment. So when two people come together, they've got to have a common frame by which they're seeing the situation in order for communication to happen at all. And you can think of that frame as like your point of view, what it is that you want out of the situation, out of that interaction. Think of it in any of those three ways works just fine. And in order for people to actually communicate, one of those frames wins and the other is crushed. I mean, it's not a friendly interaction. One frame dominates and the other doesn't. And if somebody's dominating you, you have got the opportunity. And if you want to be a person who's taken, as someone of weight, that you're solid and you can be relied on in tough situations, then you really do want to like take the high road and take command of that situation. It makes all the difference to do. And there are a handful of things that go into being able to do that, and stepping out of that fear, understanding how to play the situation well, all kinds of things, and how to not blame and shame at the end. Having a really effective redirect as you're finishing up that 5 to 13 seconds of interaction is incredibly powerful in elevating your status. And there is nothing that good in the world that more status doesn't help you find.
And I would think that knowing ahead of time what to do if a situation pops up would be the best thing in the world, to have it in your pocket, to know, I know this situation and this is how I handle it. Just like very similar to being prepared in any emergency. Instead of running around going, okay, what I do, I have to grab this, do that, to know ahead of time. When you were saying,
like, where is the fire extinguisher and where's the exit?
right. They're over this way.
And do I want to go out with the jewels, or do we want to leave them behind?
Want to scream?
Well, let's take those jewels.
Or just stand still, paralyzed, not knowing what to do. Not knowing what to do.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
When you were saying one person dominates and the other is crushed, I was picturing, if somebody's like dominating me, coming over me, I think that I would only have sort of three, well, maybe I'd have three reactions of myself. I'd
Uh-huh.
either submit and be crushed, or I'd be like a bronco and try to buck them off, or
Uh-huh.
I'd fight, you know, like
Uh-huh.
that. So, but yours is another solution that leaves everybody feeling like a, a winner, like they won, like everybody
Oh,
comes out.
yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Because making somebody else wrong, setting up that good bad binary, really isn't very useful, because when somebody feels like they've been accused of being bad or mean or,
Wrong.
ugly or evil, in their behavior, they, what do? We automatically jump to defending.
And then we
And
don't like that person very much.
that's right. And then we
And
get to blame them right back, and it's all their fault. And so then the downward spiral happens.
and
That's
then I
just not
could
worth going.
no. And then I could see not wanting to interact with them in the future.
Right.
Yeah, everything just gets
Worse. Worse. And every time I have done this, the people who were on the other side of the interaction, they respected me more, and so did anybody else who was a witness to it. And so, it's worthwhile for your status to go up. It's worthwhile for you to know that you've got, spine.
we got
And
Moxie. Remember when
yeah,
I used to
Moxie.
watch Mary Tyler Moore? Remember when Lou Grant was interviewing her and he said, "You've got spunk. I hate
Uh-huh.
spunk." I hate spunk.
He was just the old curmudgeon
He
guy,
was
wasn't he?
great, still is. About the 13-second rule, is there some way they can do that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Go to dorothykuhn.com/gift and you'll
Wonderful.
get it there. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's similar in you'll get like common situations that women run into on a regular basis. Mansplaining is one of them, and there are eight
What a great
others, and one
word.
of them, yeah, isn't it though? I mean, we all explain and over-explain from
Yeah.
time to time. The difference in the dynamic for mansplaining is that there the canon of stories around men's accomplishment is centuries old. It's a tremendous canon of accomplishment. I don't take anything away from that. The things that, humanity, mostly through men, has created thus far is really quite amazing. Um, and the canon of stories of women's accomplishments, just in our lifetimes, Sheryl, in the past 30 years, it's a much larger canon than it was 30 years ago. But does it really compare to the canon of accomplishments for centuries of men when they wrote the history books?
Oh, when they wrote the history book, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, it's history. It's not her story.
Although many would like it to be her story.
Well, I think it'll be better when it's both. But anyway, um, so the thing that backdrop of those social stories really makes a huge difference in how mansplaining destatuses women. Uh, just because of that cultural history that we're all aware of, and why it's so important for women to have the skill and the moxie to respond in a way that upends and bends those social stories, and people go, wow, that is really cool.
And it's just great to have a tool ready, that this tool ready
Mm-hmm.
to. Hey, I'm
That's right.
wondering, talking about, let's see, swipe left. I'm afraid to
Uh-huh.
touch anything here. Swipe left to reveal comments and swipe left. So this way. So if I swipe, oh, look,
Uh-huh.
there's comments. Then you can see, hey, my friend
Oh.
Pam Blazak is watching. Remember I told the story
Oh.
about an Alfred Unger. Hey,
Uh-huh.
hi.
Hey, Alfred.
Remember
Uh-huh.
I told the story about telling the story of Little Rabbit Foom Foom in third grade? Pam
Right.
Blazak was in my third grade class. We went all
No
through,
way.
yes, we went all through elementary school and high school. I think we split at senior high, though. She went to East
Uh-huh.
and I went to West. Hi, Pam.
Oh, that is so
That
great.
is so
This is
cool.
so great.
Who
Uh-huh.
else is here?
I see
Alfred.
Sally Ortega-Haynes. Hello, Sally.
So my
Alfred.
question on this is, as
Uh-huh.
we're sharing and you hosted, we're
Uh-huh.
experimenting, if anybody wants to know, with Facebook Live, bringing a guest on. That's what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing right now. Uh, can I notify people, like, I'm wondering if this goes out to my page. Well, it must, because Pam is here. It must have gone
Yeah,
to
and
my
I don't see
page.
Pam in my comments.
You
You see
don't
her
see?
on yours. Mm-hmm.
So it must be in my page as well. How
Yeah.
cool is that? So it's on your
Yeah.
page and my page.
I think so. Let me know afterwards.
Okay, we'll find out.
So,
That's
okay.
very
Well,
cool.
this has just been awesome. I love it. It's fun.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We'll have to do
everybody
this again.
get our free gifts. SherylBernstein.com/star for 10 things to know before you video. DorothyKoon.com/gift for the 13-second rule to empower.
The 13-second rule. Uh-huh. And the 9 things you must spot early.
10 things to spot early.
You bet.
I like it. Well, this is
Yes.
great.
Yes,
Yay.
it's great. I will see you soon. Okay.
See you soon, Dorothy.
Thanks a ton, darling. Bye
Bye,
for now.
everybody. Now what do we do?